Now let's actually code it, okay? Let's see how it looks like. So I'll start with the previous version of code that I had, in which I used 5 variables, right? I used 5 different variables. So what I did was I said a equals int input, right? And then what I did was we can essentially copy this code, right, and paste it. So copied b equals int input, right? Oops, sorry about that. B equals int input, and c equals int input, d equals int input, e equals int input, right? And then we can have a variable called total equals a plus b plus c plus d plus e, right? And then we print total, right? We print total. Okay, so when we run this code, 5 numbers, so let's say 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Okay, and it gives us 150, right? Now the problem with this approach is, if you had 100 numbers instead of 5, you'd have to say a b c d e f g h I j k l to z, which is 26 letters, right? And then you can either go a b a c and so on and so forth, or you could just say a1 a2 a3 a4 a5 to a100, right? But regardless of how you do it, you'll have to then calculate the sum, right? So then it would be a b c, or a b c d e plus e f g h I j k l, and on, right? 100 times. That's a lot of work, right? Essentially. The second approach simplifies it, right? The second approach calculates a partial sum, and it keeps a sort of a running count of how much, sort of a running total, right? And that simplifies things. Okay, so how did we do that? We initially set the sum to 0, right? That's our initial value of the total. Now what we did was a equals int input, right? Okay, that's our first number, and then we added that number to the total. Total equals total, total plus a, right? And then from then on, essentially, we can just copy this thing, right? We can just copy this piece of code and then paste it however many times we want. And at the end, we can just say print total, right? So you want this 5 times, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? That's 5 times for you. Let's run it. 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. 150, right? If you want it, if you want 10 times, again, all you do is just paste it, right? 5 more times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's for 10 numbers, right? Run it again. Run it again. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90. I'm sorry, no, 90 and 100, and 100 again. And that gives you 550, right? You wanted more number of times, you just copy the entire thing. You copy the entire thing, because that is what, 10 numbers, right? Copy the entire thing, Control C, and then paste it. Paste it 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Actually, 9 times. Because already had 10, right? So this would be your program that takes 100 numbers and then prints the sum. This is much easier than the previous approach, right? Because you don't have to manually type all this stuff. All you can do is simply copy paste. Just so you know, this is not how we code though, okay? This is just to sort of explain that the using 2 variables, right? Using just 2 variables makes the program easier, okay? And if it makes the program easier for you, it will also make the program easier for the computer as well, okay? And now what we'll do is we'll learn how to make this easier for the computer, okay?